Yes, there is a lot more than just Datacenter Travel in these patch notes, and so hey guys, it's Cole from lunchtime, and patch 6.18 patch notes have dropped, and so I'm here to give you the condensed summary of all of them. As always, if you want to help me out with the algorithm, I would massively appreciate if you dropped a beefy Datacenter Travel on that like button and cat daddy that subscribe button. So first up is obviously Datacenter Travel has been implemented, shocking absolutely nobody, but to quickly recap what they go over in the patch notes, you can choose to visit another data center by right-clicking your character's name and choosing that option. You'll then be able to choose the data center and the world in that data center that you're going to want to arrive at. After that, you're going to be temporarily put at the title screen and then given a queue as the servers process the travel request, and once that's finished, you can then log in where you will be given a funky traveler title. So I'm both an adventurer and a traveler. Ooh, fancy. But there are going to be a bunch of restrictions that I'm going to go over really quickly here associated with data center travel, and most of these I am going to say are very similar to visiting another world on the same data center that we already have. So if you're familiar with those already, a lot of this is going to be reviewed. There are like very minor differences though, but like super minor. So the first one is for gatherers, you cannot gather legendary and unspoiled gathering nodes. For retainers, you can't interact with them in any meaningful way. You can then buy items off of the market board, no problem, but you cannot sell them. You obviously also cannot buy a house or share a house. You can't join link shells, you can't join free companies, you can't do weddings, you can't do ranked PvP. They specifically said ranked PvP here, and you can't do anything with mail or letters, so you can't receive or send items through the mail. What you can do though is you can do deep dungeons like Pass of the Dead, but you will not be put in the rankings. You can do all the gold saucer activities, but you can't do tournaments or join the jumbo cackbot. You can also only teleport to a friend's house when you're on their same world, but that's honestly the same as the data center. And very relevant and actually very important, because I actually suspect a lot of people will try it, is that new and preferred world bonuses like for leveling are not available for data center travelers. So like that's a lot of things that you can't do, but still you can do the incredible majority of content with people like raiding, trials, roulettes. I don't see any of that limited here. You can do open world bisexual gemstone farming, even if you can still like not do like what was just said in the restrictions. There is a ton that you can do in spite of these restrictions. Very much reminds me of the world visit system on the data center, so pretty much go in with that same expectation, you're pretty much good. Next up is that savage raiding has completely been opened up. There's no more restrictions on loot, which is great. So that means like you always get 2 chests. You can obviously get multiple drops per week. Now is the time, honestly, to finally farm the absolute hell out of these, and if you're missing glamour pieces, like totally go for them. And following in the wake of that is you can now buy Tomestone upgrade materials for weapons like the Radiant Roborant with the Agalia coin, which is absolutely great. Now people are going to be like, okay, what about the Echo for Savage? I have looked through these patch notes. I see absolutely nothing mentioning Echo being implemented whatsoever, so take from that what you will. I assume that they're just not putting in the Echo yet. Now other changes are going to involve PvP, where Season 1 of Crystalline Conflict is ending, and then Season 2 of Crystalline Conflict is beginning, and rewards will be given out to those who earn them. Next up is that Frontline is actually getting an interesting rework for patch 6.18 for the current moment, but there is a note here saying that there's going to be significantly more changes coming for patch 6.2 involving limit break rate and damage modifiers. Hello Summoner, my good old friend, you're probably getting whacked with the Frontlines nerf bat. Come at my Bahamut, bro. What we can see a lot here is that there are going to be significant nerfs to the combat rank bonus for Frontlines, and the first, second, and third are getting significantly slower in how much you can acquire for them, or how fast you can acquire them, I should say. So that might actually be really neat. I'm not sure off the top of my head, just seeing it, how that might work. It might just slow down combat significantly. We'll have to really see. And then next up is, interestingly, damage modifiers have been changed, where damage taken for melee DPS and tanks has been increased, where they used to take 40% less damage, and now they're taking 60% less damage. I am so sorry guys, it's just lunchtime and it's so hard to get this out. But now moving on to physical ranged and magical ranged and healers other than Scholar and White Mage, so we're talking Sage or Astro here. Kind of feels bad, man, but as a Scholar, but they used to take 20% less damage, and now they're taking 30% less damage, so significantly more mitigation there. And now Summoner, Scholar, and White Mage used to have no damage reduction taken, and now they're taking 10% less damage, and so that's very interesting for sure. It's kind of like what the combat taking a bit longer to acquire made me think, is it's like, oh, they're really trying to slow it down. So Frontlines is definitely going to be a significantly more sturdy experience. You're going to be a little bit more rigid on the battlefield, actually, especially tanks and melee DPS. Geez, 60% less. That's crazy. Next up is PvP job balancing changes and buffs, and I said PvP, not PvE. No one tell me that I said PvE. I have said PvP like 5 times now. I'm still gonna get the comment. The first up is Paladin's Holy Sheltron is actually having his damage reduction nerfed by 20% down to being a 15% mitigation from 20. Warriors are getting a damage buff to Onslaught. Oh god, why? Warriors are also getting a buff to Originy damage. Oh god, why? Dark Knight is getting Blood Spiller damage increased, as well as the HP requirement is being raised from 20% max HP to 25%. So what that really translates to in gameplay is it's going to be a lot easier to get the Blood Spiller casts out there. And then Eventide has been brought up from the initial starting damage being 1 potency, which is like really low, up to 10,000, which obviously is a great improvement, and ultimately it makes it so that the Dark Knight at least gets something solid out of it, lowering the skill floor quite a bit from the obviously quite punishing form before. Gunbreaker is having damage buffs to Burst Strike and then Hyper Velocity. But what is also interesting to Hyper Velocity is that we can see buffs to all of the junction roll buffs from Hyper Velocity, as well as its like barrier damage or healing done. It's just all around making Hyper Velocity a better skill. Next up is Ninja is getting I will call this a nerf, where Saiton Tenchu has its duration reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Even if it's more to people's quality of life, I would still call this a nerf. Machinist next is getting a pretty massive quality of life buff, where Blast Charge, when you are in the overheated state specifically, is now going to raise your movement speed, which is actually super nice, like really nice. Whether you are kiting people, chasing people down, that's great. Movement speed is very powerful. And then Aether Mortar is also getting buffed in both damage and barriers that it provides, which is always nice, and that barrier is literally given 50% more, so overall it's now a very nice utility move. When the fudge are we getting this in PvE, please? That would be amazing. It's never gonna happen in PvE, is it? No, it's not. Oh. Next up is Dancer, which now has a ton of damage buffs on Honing Dance, Reverse Cascade, and as well as Fountain Fall, so 3 big skills that they use a bit, as well as Saber's Dance's damage bonus has been doubled and now is at a total of 10%, which is definitely going to be something you feel throughout everything. Next up is Black Mage is sadly still seeing the nerf bat of doom. Holy shit. The first up is a quarter of the damage from Burst has been removed from 1600 initially, now down to 1200. Ouch. And worse yet is Super Flare's Umbral Freeze effect has been totally reworked, or largely reworked. Maybe saying totally reworked is too much, but now it works where the 1 stack of it is now a slow effect, 2 stack is binding them, and remember they can always take actions still in those states, and then 3 and only 3 inflicts Deep Freeze, preventing both movement and action. So yeah, that's a big nerf, like really big. Next up is that the Summoner now has their Fester ability used to finish off targets buffed 25% to be significantly more spiky and more finishy. It's more of a finisher. It's a finisher. I give up. I can't think right now. Now, Astrologian got slapped with a massive nerf that I didn't really actually expect to both Gravity and Double Cast Gravity, where the slow from the first one and then the bind from the recast, the Double Cast Gravity, now both of those will only impact 1 target rather than potentially the entire enemy team. That is like, ow, that is painful. For this nerf, we're going to need to try it out in game and see how that works out. There's still obviously good abilities. This and Black Mage though, I'm really feeling like I need to see in game to comment on how impactful or not they are going to be. My feelings are these nerfs are going to really hurt both though. Yeah, that's really it for this video. I'm just sneaking it out during lunch. I love you all way too much. Take care, and I really do hope that you're having a happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everyone in the USA. I love you all so much. Be safe, everyone, though, and please take care, please.